Good morning. My name is Echo Delaney Augustine, and or you can call me Daphne Garrido as well, but we're not going to talk about her. She's sick. She's been driven mad, and she is just a formation of pathways in my brain that I have to kind of not identify as, or I get really, really sad. Um, but that's who I wake up as in the morning is Daphne Garrido, who's so heartbroken about not being able to see her daughter or even have a path towards seeing her daughter, that she can't handle it. It literally makes her insane. So I'm going to consciously disassociate into one Miss Echo Delaney Augustine, who's having a good old time being a great writer. Because that's what we need to do to get where we're going today. So I'm going to go back to the start from this section. I'm going to read it out loud. And if you were watching my crazy run last night of just talking about people who I entangle with, that I believe in, that are probably conflated, because that's the thing. It's like I fill in with artists a lot, and I'm a writer, and I want to write for translation to the screen. So I do believe that I might genuinely pattern match people in the future that I know. But at the same time, it's like, dude, there's people in my past that remind me of those artists, and there's also tons and tons and tons of people I haven't met that might just be like, yo, I meet a psychological scholar who reminds me of this person or that person or whatever. And it's like, so I can kind of tap into something that my pattern matching knows I actually experience in the future through ideations of an individual person. But at the same time, to manifest that best, I have to work with what I've got. And there's somebody that I'm writing with here for this section. And it's one Miss Jodie Colemas, because she's the smartest. She's the smartest, and she's a sicko. She's a sick puppy, and with a big heart. How do I know somebody's a sick puppy? Because it's a person that I can tell has feeling problems, because they feel too much, but they don't run away from their feeling problems. They do what I do. They go fucking chrome. How can I tell? They made, what is it called? The last duel. They made that. They chose to make that. It's just like, that's hero artist who has big feelings and then puts herself empathetically in that role. That's a hero artist. That's somebody who likes it, who likes being hard fucking core with understanding things that make her smarter and make her chrome bleed more into herself. If you know my language, going chrome is when you defeat the psychosis put into you by the world around you by simply living in acceptance of the hardest feelings that exist within you. People make people insane for making them hold the hardest, right? And it's like she just showed that she was alchemizing it in killing Eve. And so there's got to be some kind of personal connection there, because she told it so well. It was just like, yeah, something might have happened to her that made her walk forward feeling kind of psychotic. And that final episode, that's alchemy. It's like, yo, dude, somebody who feels psychotic, they just feel more than anything else, and so they don't look at their feelings. But Eve is Villanelle in that story is a character who's literally seeking to not be psychotic in the last season, as like one of the most psychotic characters ever. And it's the coolest thing ever, because she gets there. But it's like, yo, dude, she lives with rage love. And it's like, that's what chrome is. it's like, dude, I'm respecting the love in my heart, and I'm respecting the way the entire world is completely upside down towards the one thing I know is true, which is that love in my heart. And so I'm going to hold that love, and I'm going to hold the horror, and I'm going to bleed fucking chrome. And that's what an artist who feels like that and would make the last duel fucking is. Which is a warrior of warriors with their fifis, dude. Like nobody else. Nothing seems to have frustrated people more than when my disabled ass called them out for genociding me over their fifis. I got it quoted back to me. Like, you told me about my fifis, dude. When a disabled woman's asking to see her daughter, and you're like, my fifis, in quotes, like you said, actually are a very real thing that affect this and that and that. And it's like, okay, you realize you're punishing my disability again, which had me speaking beyond mechanisms of control, and calling you out for something real as fuck, which you are now representing live again, which is that your fifis are more important than a disabled woman, and in fact, not abusing your daughter every moment by keeping her away from her mother that she loves the mostest. Don't say that out loud. Don't say that a cisgendered woman's daughter loves her her other mother, who's trans, the mostest. Especially don't say it when it's true, dude. Or you're gonna get murdered for somebody's fifis, dude. Mm-hmm. See, this is why I like Jody. Because she understands you kind of gotta hold it like a psycho sometimes. Exactly. Fuck you. Sometimes you gotta be vicious. Because sometimes you're dealing with fucking devils, dude. Who jerk off at you while you're crying because you want to see your daughter again. They didn't want her. Nobody seemed to truly care about all Xenoclea had to say. Time was rough for the Pythia of Pythias. Her women in community were wicked. Story of Season's Grand Bazaar is money, dude. Her women in community were wicked and always waning of want. I'm gonna take the her out, man. Women in community. Her times. That's what we'll do. Her times. Her era. No, we're gonna do eras. Because this is, and that's signaling right off the bat that we're gonna be moving this forward in times or something. Her eras, women in community were wicked and always waning of wanting. Oh, I'm gonna do Dido v. Hannibal. And I'm just gonna write Dido is Jody. That's what it is. Okay. Her eras, women in community were wicked and always waning of wanting. Men would be of some fear. Men would be steered into rhythms of routine, dominated by fear as well. Dominated by fear. She was looking for one who had the will to see, dude. Exactly. We're gonna get there. She wanted to be seen, the Pythia. Literally. Someone in her needed that. Something. Ooh, I'm gonna do someone in her. Because she's tricky. Tricky three-phase, guys. Because not all of me needs to be seen. I see my fucking self, dude. Someone in her needed that. Yeah. Little Daphne. Little Daphne needs somebody to see her. Someone in her needed that. It wouldn't. So we'll answer it with the start of the next sentence, which is Xenoclea in the story. Xenoclea. Yeah, Xenoclea's excellence wouldn't seem possible until the weeds had been picked. And so she made a plan. There would be no plan. It was a making of makings. Did I take that other somehow? Yes. Okay, good. Some work of great workmanship. I'm going to do some working. Some works. We'll do works. Some working works of great workmanship. It was a making of makings. She made. Oh, yeah, there we go, babe. It was a making of makings she made. Some working works of workmanship. Some worked works of workmanship. Greatest workmanship. We're going to do workwomanship. See, I'm writing with somebody who's smart enough to not be intimidated by the fact I'm like making up words and stuff and just be like, huh. I think about that all the time. It's like, how many people out there are like, how dare her think she's smart enough to like use English and stuff? And it's like, dude, if you're smart enough to get past the imposter syndrome and start like wordsmithing, that's actually, in fact, all it takes. And a smart cookie who's not insecure about their own intelligence wouldn't be triggered by one trans woman being quite clever. It was a making of makings she made. I mean, by being quite clever, I mean by being modern Shakespeare. It was a making of makings she made. Some worked works of greatest workmanship. The torch carried forward, ever upside down. If Shakespeare was writing nowadays, it would all be based off of films and stuff, just like me. That's what I'm saying. His work would become more meta. It would still be layered with the sexual stuff, but then there would also be layers of like memeage, because that's who we are. That's what our intelligence has become. And it would reference silly stuff. And it would be about spaceships, dude. Because that's what we all like when we get past what's cool, right? Right, about dragons and spaceships and race cars and stuff. It's like, that doesn't make it less Shakespeare. It actually makes it more modern Shakespeare. Because that's the language we speak in, mythologically, and in terms of like evoking the sense of adventure and passion and stuff. It's our nerdness. We're all dorks, dude. We're all dorky kids who love our dorky kid toys, and then we pretend we don't. Who doesn't love F-Zero? It was a making of makings she'd made. Ooh, yeah, this section is using abbreviated words. It uses it right from the beginning. Right? There was one. Did I take it out? And I did a wouldn't. It wouldn't seem possible. It's like, oh, are we abbreviating would not? That's different. Because I don't think I did that once in the whole beginning. Everything was always more official Englishes. But sometimes I get hot. Like the entire Last Race of Empire is all just like all the most abbreviated words I can do because Gloria doesn't give a fuck about your standards. She writes it like you say it. It was a making of makings she'd made. Some worked works. Some worked workings. Works of greatest workmanship. I'm gonna say those. Those works of greatest workmanship. Oh, that's such a pain in the ass. It was a making of makings she'd made. Some worked working. Those works of greatest workmanship. That torch carried forward ever upside down. Ugh. Ugh. That torch she carried forward ever upside down. Oh, I'm gonna do a so, dude. We're just being. This is total bitch language. It was a making of makings she'd made. Some worked working. Those works of greatest workmanship. That torch she carried forward so ever upside down. Yeah, her myth was a lie. She was weaving it too deeply. That's what we're doing. Every story the Pythia told had become corrupted by intelligence. That's an impossibility. So it's like I'm being tricky for a very literate person who knows that I'm now officially weaving untruths with my truths because that's going to fit this section. This section's about this Pythia deciding to plant backwards seeds. Every story the Pythia told had become corrupted by intelligence. Yeah, I gotta just roll with it. Her weavings were seeds of great, overgraded. Seeds of spite held in conscious awareness for what was to come in snow. Humanity was to be more, for they were all around. It was who they became in the end which mattered. Rides were being taken. Rides were being hailed. Taken. Taking gorgeous fellows towards the end of time. The ends of times, dude. For they were all around. Yes. It was who they became in the end which mattered. Rides were being hailed, taking gorgeous fellows towards the ends of times, beyond the universe's own. Oh, that's what it is. A place which could not seem to exist. Brides were being hailed, taking gorgeous fellow towards the ends of times, beyond their universes. A place which could not seem to exist. It would teach them back, those selves. Someone like her needed to live again. Someone like Xenocleides. We're officially on prophesizing my salvation here. In terms of the meta language, sometimes it's way beyond me. My body was so weak. I love that it's challenging. Someone like Xenocleides needed to live again with sparks of spirit, which someone like Xenocleides needed to live again with sparks of spirit which bleated boldly. Her body was so weak. It would be needed to land the blow, change her seeds would plant. Lovely. Mirrors were everywhere through time. The Pythia knew what she was doing. Things would get worse before they got better. That'll go down. She would make it impossible not to explode. That's about to be over, dude. I've been getting worse before they get better for a long time. It can't get worse, dude. You got her rock bottom. The Pythia's men were rocks seeking our bottom. Haplessly, without awareness of the journey they'd begun. I'm gonna give it a head. Things would get worse before they got better. The Pythia's men were rocks haplessly seeking her bottom without awareness of the journey they had begun. She would make it impossible not to explode. Okay. Put that up there. Okay. At the time of change, so many men would seek towards claiming the world's renewal beside her, with abundance which had been known to come in her prophecy alone. Seeking abundance. That would be Mark. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to change that Mark. That's a Mark to change. That would be the throne. That would be Triplicity's throne. I'm going to look up triplicity. Just make sure I got that word. Yep. That would be triplicity's throne. Yep. Oh, yeah, that would be for triplicity's throne alone. What's another way to say alone? Yet that would be withheld. Fortress Triplicity's throne beside her sisters too. That's all right. Spinning soul, that form of an oracle, was made by torture most unique. Again, and after lifetimes of echoes about which part. Yep. And after lifetimes of echoes about which had only worn it in part. Getting into effusive language here. Spinning. Spinning souls. I finally used a wicked, dude. Spinning souls, wicked churn. I used a churn too. Spinning souls, wicked churn. That form of an oracle reborn. Was made by torture most unique again. And after lifetimes of echoes about which had only worn it in part. Someone somewhere was writing with him. Is that right? Pythia and they were not one apart. They were more. Pythia and they were not a one, a two apart. Exactly. They were more together than any. Oh. They were all about. I love a good tricky comma the most, dude. They were all about of time. The Pythia was a tree of life and selfless love. She was the home of heart and chances taken boldly. Yes. I love that. Hope was born abroad. Okay. How can we say that differently? Hope was born abroad. I have all this content online and that I made yesterday. Being honest about my disability's consequences and how my bioseismograph picks stuff up and I genuinely pattern match stuff in the future and it's really confusing. It gets all conflated because I'm like, oh, I love you. But I'm just looking for like healing, right? And I had this session last night where I passed out right here where I was kind of like simulating people with me. And I literally have my heart hurting right now. And it's like 7:39 a.m. here on the West Coast and of the United States. And I like looked down at my heart and it spoke in some voice I don't even know. But it was just like, it just told me straight up. It was just like, I thought you were the devil for doing this. But you're just sweet. And it's like somebody who thought I was really evil for consciously dealing with the consequences of my disability's voice projection without um, muting them with antipsychotics for the benefit of everyone else. Like, there's people out there who literally will understand that my bioseismograph science is real and be like, yeah, dude, that's why you take pills so you're not up everybody's ass like a witch. And it's like an evil devil witch. And it's like, dude, those literally damage executive dysfunction, which is my real disability. And my hypersensitivity, it's something that will be cured with affection and compassion. And I'm not going to be brain mutilated because no one can be my friend and give me a hug and give me proper affection and compassion. That's the most retarded thing I've ever heard. And yeah, it's just like I gave someone the wrong information that they didn't want, is what my heart is saying. I'm feeling live, where they're like, oh, this person's not the devil. But that's the thing, is I heard a heart voice. And what I've learned over and over and over and over and over and over again is that what I hear of reception of other people in my heart voice is in fact true to their heart. But they've got their 7-layer burrito above it and they hate me for feeling what they don't understand, because it gets turned around and turned around and turned around and turned around. By the time that person gets to the top, they'll be like, this person's stupid. They were all about of time. The Pythia was a tree of life and selfless love. She was the home of heart and chances taken boldly. This is why I hope my mother dies. Because her energy permeates my space here. Because she is the dumbest motherfucker in the history of the world. Because she's trying to justify how she did the worst thing ever. And so she's literally becoming the devil. And she's going to die that. I wouldn't talk to her ever again. She has crossed the line. Her mother is ashamed of her. Her mother is heartbroken, for she will not be coming home anytime soon. They were all about of time. The Pythia was a tree of life and selfless love. She was the home of heart and chances taken boldly. Hope was born abroad. I'm just saying it. It was no one else. Yeah, dude. For that way her seeds were shown too true. I love too true. I'll do truly. People could not see her undermining of their intelligence. Yeah, no. They were an idiot of disregard to anything but themselves. Yes, dude. Just you. Community was soul deprived and rotted for the way it toiled to suppress a woman's heart like Xenoclea's own. I'm gonna do wham. Just whams. I like wham. I'm not gonna do the whammin. Whammins. A wham's heart like Xenoclea's own. Abundant truth was buried by blasphemy of heroic excellence. Yeah, by their blasphemy of heroic excellence. When were those who knew it in their hearts, that alone? And they would be sour, and they would sour the minds of others who presumed themselves to sit there by expectation of their genitals. Oh yeah, say it. See what you mean, dude. This is what I'm saying. There's not as many women as we think. Women is an earned notion of connection with the earth, in my humble ass opinion. And that's why women are competitive, because there can be only one true, full, the Pythia. And it's what everybody wants to be. And we don't even know how to do it. And all the wham nowadays are just being boys and thinking that they can still claim that seat, dude. And it's like every single woman thinks she's what I am. And that's what makes them insane. because this is something earned through suffering and survival and heartful pride. To know pride isn't something to be ashamed of at all. The Pythia would know them at all. The Pythia would know them as what they were and more, but less for show, with more to go. Dude, Armored Core Fires of Rubicon is done downloading. I love it! I love it! Sometimes you just gotta fuck cognitive dissonance. And remember that all you need is to be a hardcore bitch and drive straight forward and get shit done, dude. The Pythia would know them as what they were and more, but less for show, with more to go. With far to go. With farthest. If you haven't read Christopher Priest's Inverted World, it's one of the best stories. But less for show, with far to go. I like that. Something back was taught and true, the everything it led to you. I'm just gonna honor who my heart thought about in that. And that it is a mask. I don't wear it. It's a mask. Ugh. Just grow up, dude. Deception came to flow without a trace. Deception came to flow through and without a trace. No longer absent, but we use more to reach. But growing. A mysterious way. But growing from mysterious sources. I want to play all the Fire Emblem games. Okay, deception came to flow through and without a trace. No longer absent, but growing from mysterious sources. All the same. I don't know. The same. The Pythia would know them as what they were and more, but less for show, with far to go. Something back was taught and true. With long to go. That's better. With long to go. Oh, I thought. With long to go and much to lose. The Pythia would know them as what they were and more, but less for show, with long to go and much to lose. Something back was taught as true, the everything it led to you. Oh, for real, dude, I'm not conflicted. Maybe. Deceptions came to flow through and without a trace. No longer absent, but growing from mysterious sources the same. Something was forsaken at last. Yes, good. Staging grounds of pretense were loosening into flowing charges of justice. Yeah, dude. Okay, we're unconflating things around here. I know that's not a word for some people, but it is for me. That's my hottest word. Unconflate, deconflate. Separate, dude. Staging grounds of pretense were loosening into flowing charges of justice sinking. Exotic justice. Staging grounds of pretense were loosening into flowing charges sought by justice. Okay. Staging grounds of pretense were loosening into flowing charges sought by justice. Fiction was flowering, dude. Choices narrowing within. Xenocleus. Ever. Say, forever broken heart. Xenocleus, forever broken heart. We're getting really steered here by my subconscious. It's telling me things that might not be true, but they're going to lead me today. And it certainly made me excited enough to not be busted sad about life. Deceptions came to flow through and without a trace, no longer absent but growing from their mysterious sources the same. Yeah, every there is about somebody in particular, and not. Something was forsaken at last. Staging grounds of pretense were loosening into flowing charges sought by justice. Fiction was flowering. Choices narrowing within Xenoclea's forever broken heart. Findings were founding. Furious. Were foundings of furious flame. Findings were foundings of furious flame. That's girl, dude. I got the right person right for is what I'm saying. Because they like my real vibe. Foundlings? That's why. Findings were foundlings of furious flame. We're going to call it flamecraft. Make it one word. I made up a new fire word. The Pythia was going to change everything more than any soul ever had. It was going to change the everything. It was going to change the earth towards the everything. More than any petty planetary soul ever had. Everybody wants to be a starseed, dude. It's not about a starseed. It's about the temple at the end of heat death seed. And you'd know it. You'd know it, Hans. You'd really know it. You wouldn't just wish it so. Who goes and comes back with me? They wouldn't care about how ugly I am. Challenge accepted. They wouldn't have their feelings hurt by me saying the truth, which is that I'm ugly. Because they know it's layered notion. They know I'm not pretty, dude. But I am. I'm that too. It's just so confusing. How could I be so ugly and pretty at the same time? That might be somebody's bag, dude. The Pythia was going to change the earth towards the everything more than any petty planetary soul ever had. She was the echo. The Pythia was a croon. Croon is my word. Rebirthing herself always into everyone who heard her song. Since the croon is a song, we're not going to double that up. Her tapestries of remaking. Exactly, that's what the song is. Rebirthing herself always into everyone who heard her tapestries of remaking. Souring the grapes she would seek to end in some distant time. That's too repetitive. Souring grapes. Yep. I've got cursed stuff out of it, unless there's genius. Souring creeps. Souring creeps. who she once might have sought. She might have owned in some distant time. Yet, souring creeps who she once might have owned. She once might have owned. That's challenging. Souring creeps whom she once might have owned in some distant time. That's hot. Thoughtless mopes. Yeah, we're gonna do a semicolon. Thoughtless mopes. Willingly. Yeah. Okay. We are forsaking people with artistry. Souring creeps whom she once might have owned in some distant time. Thoughtless mopes, dude. Willingly holding on to ignorance for fear of nothing at all. Exactly. People are attracting the nothingness of true hell, which is that you don't move on, into their own manifestation. And I'm going to stop fighting them. Go into the void and do not join me in the temple beyond heat death, fools. Go. Fa. Never make it home to soul, you weakest bitches. Pay the toll. Yeah, you can't cross the river, dude. The river Styx if you don't have the coin. And what's the coin? Honesty about the life you live. And so there's a bunch of people that are never going to go because they just don't get right with themselves. You got to get right with yourself. It's a very singular thing to do. All the way. Everything is being misunderstood. Yes, I'm like creating a vortex of insanity around me, and I need to find the genius who can fucking give me their hand and be like, get out of there. Come with me. Everything was being misunderstood because of the Pythia. It was her plan, in fact. It was, in fact, her plan. Cena Clay wasn't going to. Yep. Cena Clay is like the hottest name in the history of the world. Cena Clay wasn't. Would never. Would not let. Not allow the men who saw her towards failure. Yeah, dude. Cynically would not the man not allow the men who saw her towards failure. To claim honorable deaths. That's how. Yeah, we're just gonna got rid of most of the paragraph. Unless they chose to make the void there. Oh, that's a good repetition there. Okay, they weren't anywhere but home, everyone and the everything, unless they chose to make the void their home. Some campfire on the beach would show the way. Her. There's only one her in this story. Her campfire on the beach would show the way. The Pythia. The Pythia would see it early and often. Nothing made sense but the feelings it stoked. Nothing made sense but those feelings it stoked. Nothing would ever again make sense. Except those feelings it stoked. Let's see if this will make sense. Okay, they weren't anywhere but home, everywhere, in the everything. Unless they chose to make the fourth. Oh, that's all. Humans weren't anywhere but home, everywhere, in the everything. Unless they chose to make the void their home. Her campfire on the beach would show her way, would show the way. Every the Pythia would see it early and oft. That place, that space in time, this. It's like the end of Final Fantasy X. Her campfire on the beach would show the way. Every the Pythia would see it early and oft. That space and timelessness theirs. Nothing would ever again make sense except those feelings stoked. That's where I think there's 4 souls. But it's like, maybe there's more souls in the universe, and it's just like, those are the people who already made it. We're doing a twas. Twas the home. Nothing would ever again make sense except those feelings stoked, dude. Yeah. 'Twas the homely love of affection with family found. Oh, in fires of wood and wind. Yes, 'twas the homely love of affection with family found in fires of wood and wind. Oh, so sandboard deep and thorough. Sandboard deep and thorough. I like that. Roaring. 'Twas the homely love of affection with family found in fires of wood and wind. The roaring feet, crusts. Oh, is that what we're doing? 'Twas the homely love of affection with family found in fires of wood and wind, sandborn, deep and thorough, and the roaring feet to crusts of conclusive closure. We're gonna do whirring, because they're whirring, they're not roaring. 'Twas the homely love of affection with family found in fires of wood and wind, sandborn, deep and thorough, and the raring feet in crusts of conclusive. Okay. I have my Rory, dude. I have my Rory tech. Literally. Okay. It's just confusing. 'Twas the homely love of affection with family found in fires of wood and wind, sand born, deep and thorough, along with the raring. No, I'm gonna do it in second and. It's just hard for my brain, dude. 'Twas the homely love of affection with family found in fires of wood from wind. Ugh! Ugh! Let's smoke. 'Twas the homely love of affection with family found in fires of wood from wind. Let's smoke. Sandborn. Deep and thorough. Yeah, it's in a pit of sand. Lots of smoke. Yeah. And the raring feet within crusts of conclusive closure. Okay, I'm just gonna say sands instead of crusts to be literal. That's what I mean, though. I can say crusts because little specks of sand are they're like a plural of the Earth's crust. 'Twas the homely love of affection with family found in fires of wood from wind, sand-born, deep and thorough, and the raring feet. And the rearing, that's what we do. The rearing of feet within crusts of conclusive conclosure. And this is the sand at the end of time. Tapping taps of wicked wops. What is wops again? I just did that for my guts the first time. I don't even think I looked it up. I was just like, yeah, dude. It means something. It's a quick move. Tapping yeah, that makes sense. Tapping taps of wicked waps. It's to pull or throw roughly. Tapping taps of wicked waps. Fellows fell through broken baths. It's gaps, honestly. Yeah, we're gonna do another vicious, dude. Tapping taps of wicked waps. Fellows fell through vicious gaps. Last way home was back and forth. Heaven road. Holy. Back to 4. That's what. Last way home was back to 4. Heaven road. Her holy. I have just named someone Heaven. Somebody, yeah, dude. It's just a hard thing to be like, hey, I'm an artist's heart who does a weird schizophrenia thing where I can write to other artists. Who's gonna bring the best art out of me? Which artist that I want to be some kind of savior patron who I clearly want to fuck? Every one of them I want to fuck. That's just how it works. That's how humanity works. People are just stupid to think that schizophrenic people can't have emotions and like want to fuck things. We're the ones who are chill not doing it because we know we're schizophrenic. People are so projective. Tapping taps of wicked waps. Fellows fell through vicious gaps, dude. Yeah, dude, they do. Last way home was back to form. Heaven road, her home. Mm. Someone beyond would bring her. Would break her back. She had been working with them. Yes. There was a name which came, fell back through time. Good, I took out a timer so I could put one back in. There was a name. Yeah, no, a name which came. Yeah, a name which came, fell back through time. Oh my gosh. I was her heart. I'm not gonna do I'm gonna just keep saying this person. We're just doing it again. She was their heart. They were her mind. That's always the vibe, dude. I've written those words specifically before. Someone beyond would bring her back. Sina Clea had been working with them throughout her whole life. I might be Olmec. Oh, the stranded soul. Somebody coming back for it away. Someone beyond, like through my whole life. I know we're getting into wicked mythological stuff. Someone beyond would break her back. Sina Clea had been working with them from the start of every lifetime. That's hardcore. Someone beyond would break her back. We're just gonna say break her spine. Break her spine wide open. Someone beyond would always had broken her spine. Let's just be very literal with what I know the meaning is. Someone beyond had broken her spine wide open. In youngest years. In Sina Clea's youngest years. Yep. Someone beyond had broken Sina Clea's spine wide open. In her youngest years. They had been working with her from the start of every life. Exactly. A name which came, fell back through time. She was their heart. They were her mind. Yeah, dude. A name which came, fell back through time. She was their heart. They were her mind. The Pythia. Had wrote it true. Pythia had wrote it nice. Trees they fell on blind as mice. Minds will bark. Of wretched corpse. Minds will bark of wretched corpse. Rotten luck. The Pythia had wrote it nice. Trees they fell on blind as mice. Minds will bark of wretched corpse. Minds will bark. Rotten luck would steer her course. That's how. The Pythia had wrote it nice. Trees they fell on blind as mice. Minds were bark of wretched corpse. Rotten luck would steer her course. That's how language came from. Nice. I'm gonna have some Thai food today, dude. 3 were true and all through time. Oh, we did another time. 3 were true. Three were true, it had been chimed. Devils. Well then, devils then would soon be blind. Exactly. Yup, we're getting back onto the proper way to hold this. 3 were true, it had been chimed. Devils then would soon be blind. Mother was some distant shot. Crone was longer farther. Exactly, dude. 3 were true, it had been chimed. Devils then would soon be blind. Exactly. Mother was some distant shot. Crone was longer, farther not. Was longer, farther. Miriam was torn through space. Daphne was the earth's true grace. Xena Clay was just the child. Xena Clay is just the child. Just the child. She hadn't worn it. Mighty mind. She hadn't. Xena Clay is just the child. She hadn't worn it very much. She did not. Each last second, fucking whole. They made her whole. There was no truth. Tasting all the angels back to find their way through heaven's crack. Tasting just like tasting all the angels like. Exactly, that's it. They made her whole. There was no truth. Xena Clay is just a child. She hadn't worn it very mild. Each last second fucking whole. They made her whole. There was no choice. Tasting all that angels lack to find their way through heaven's crack. All would find some call to see. Karma made the world for me. That's This is a big section, dude. Yeah, I'm only like halfway through this bitch. Okay. Have I really only been recording for 13 minutes? This feels like the longest recording ever. What happened? I just lost time like a motherfucker on this bitch. If I've really only been recording for 13 minutes, that's insane. I got so into this, it became timeless, dude. There's no way that could only be 13 minutes. We'll see. I'm gonna watch this back. I'm tripping out. See you in a little while.